What's up, guys? How are you doing? What is hang? Actually, you know what? You deserve something. I'm here with the Blade of Balance, doing a segment at least some of you will remember. This time for YouTube. Kind of makes more sense here. Probably should have been doing it, or at least clipping it before for this. But I actually just recorded for an hour, going through Zoom hands, and I realized, what the hell am I doing? That's way too long. So I'm going to condense this. I'm going to do the 10 biggest pots. We're going to rip through those, hopefully make it about a 10-12 minute segment. It's YouTube optimal anyway, and I hope you guys enjoy. Might have some other bonus treats mixed in there, but may the blade guide you guys. I want to continue churning something out for you. This might just be enjoyable enough. Let's try it out. Right away, we're going to jump in. This is our 10th largest pot in the stack. We've been queuing them for a while. For those of you that don't know, you can go into stars, click on the zoom pool, and there's an observe button. And you can drop down the hand history thing, and you can do the same thing yourself if you'd like to. But as this is a classic segment from the Cash Game Island, I'm happy to be bringing it back. I don't know what I'm going to title it yet. I'll figure it out after I make this. Under the gun opens, RCHM calls, and we get a squeeze from Psycho. 4-bet, shove. Probably not going to be that interesting. Aces versus kings. I don't even want to run this out, but I will for the sake of this segment. And he wins both runouts. Justice is somewhat served, and we move on. Rayleigh opens. Small blind 3 bets. Rayleigh flats. Count for whatever C bets, a fairly standard sizing at the stack depth. Turn decides to barrel on the heart, gets flatted, and river 10 shoves and gets called. So, I mean, shoving range here, he's still going to be shoving some of his sets here. He can still have some flushes of his own. And of course, Rayleigh's going to have some flushes himself here. Flatting turn's still standard. And, I mean, he can still also call it down with a bit worse, like 2s and 4s if he has those, which he may. I don't know this player, but I think I did see him do some questionable things in the previous hands I looked at before firing this up. So, ace 3 here runs into the 5-4 bluffing. You know 5-4 is a little salty about this. But yeah, Rayleigh makes what is considered a light call down here on the heart ace king board with the raw ace. That's a raw ace right there. I mean, that's a raw ace. That's Tiger Woods on a holiday. That's they gonna love him for his ambition. Get a limp from homeboy. We get a 3-way limp pot, so this is already pretty interesting. We get a min bet, a call, Psycho pops it up. Now it's getting thicker. We got 92 in the pot going into the turn. And Karam sliding in there, reopening the action. Psycho once again, he's like playing whack-a-mole at this point, just slapping gophers. But they won't go away. They just won't. So Karam now slides out of the woodwork like, gotcha. RL Shark's like, I'm still sticking around. So RL Shark, I don't exactly know what his range here is going to be. He could have a hand like 9-8 of diamonds. He could have ace-9 of diamonds. He could have something very surprising. But Psycho slides it in. Somebody's going to have the goddamn straight here, or I'm going to slap myself. There's the straight for Psycho. There's the 10-9 top 2 from Karam just doing things. And there's the cooler straight, looking like a jackass in the limp pot, getting all that money in there and making our top 10. And can Karam slide a little bit his way? Couldn't do it. Hand it over to Psycho. Run it twice, run it 3 times. We don't care. Slide it over, homie. Moving on. Hannes opens, Luckbox flats, Pure Tech 3 bets, has a squeeze. Kind of a small sizing versus 2 people at the stack depth, but okay, moving on. C bets half pot on the Jack 6-6 Rainbow, gets flatted, turns the Jack and he continues betting. This is pretty interesting. I mean, there's going to be quite a bit of combos. Boat for Luckbox. You'd think that at least a good chunk of PureTech's range will be checking, but he can also have some of his own Jack X's that did decide to c-bet. Don't exactly know what his range is. I assume the hands that he'd be using as bluffs here will generally be the suited, like, King Queens that do the most as far as removing Jack X combos that Luckbox can have at some frequency. You're going to want bluff since you have value bets. Since he's betting, he's implying that he does. Some people will be unbalanced in certain spots. They're not all robots, guys. Not yet. Not yet. But if you have a King, Queen of Spades here, that does remove Jack, Queen of Spades, King, Jack of Spades. But if you have it of the same color, then it doesn't do that, and those two combos do matter as you're stone dead against them and they're never folding. So filtering out some parts of a narrow range, though it might only be a couple combos, is still very important. And in some spots, the blockers you'll have will also remove other hands and just have a huge impact. And when you have certain other hands, it'll have the reverse effect because now you're weighing them towards those hands. So it's a twofold effect, goes both ways. 5 turns into 10, life goes on. But anyway, we get flatted here, river's a 4. This guy had 2 40s on, it gets dunked on. Call. Luckbox, what? You got the quad? I mean, PureTech's gonna show the jack, and I guess he ran into the quad here. Nope. It's just PureTech with the kings. Slide money to the pot. Might be a little ambitious. Might be a little ambitious. Might be a little ambitious. I mean, this is a little bit thin from PureTech. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way and move on. Get a mid-raise open. Kevin slides in. Down for whatever is down for whatever. Not even counting him at this point. And we get a $15 c-bet in all these people. He's just trying to, I mean, who knows what's going on here, man? Who knows? He might try to just leverage the fact that some of these guys will fold some of the time. He gets called by, well, most of the people, and then Nino slaps them all with what could be a nutted draw, what could be a set. Brulop continues. Once again, he can also have some of the good draws. He may decide to flat with some of his good made hands, and he could also decide to make giant mistakes with some one pair holdings. And down for whatever is down for whatever. So we're going to keep it moving. 2 of spades helps no one. We get a 241 bet into 2 people. Brulop's still in there. Down for whatever is down for whatever. And 4 of hearts. You know somebody's getting coolered here. Well, somebody hit the hearts. Let me tell you, when this situation occurs and 3 people slide into the river versus large bet, somebody hit the flush, possibly 2 people hit the flush, and you're hoping you're the bigger flush, which you are if you have the ace high in your hand, and you're scared if you don't. And then somebody's set here is upset, likely Nino's, and we might also see the occasional Easter egg surprises. So Nino slides it in for 1/5 pot, which is completely suicidal with certain parts of his range, and quite reasonable with a little bit of the rest. Brulop's in there, and down for whatever is down for whatever. So he's in there for the rest of it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to assume that down for whatever ends up having the nut hearts. Brulop had a lower flush, and Nino had a set. Nino had a set. This guy's just ridiculous, and this guy has the 10-9 of hearts, and is the only one with the hearts. Brulop is gonna get the purple label. Down for whatever is down for whatever, so he's a pretty honest guy. And Nino shoving it in there with the 7s on the river is literally lighting $200 on fire. You could buy a lot of Starbucks with that. You could buy dog food, earplugs if it's loud outside, bottles of water. I mean, hell, you could fly somewhere. You could fly somewhere, pimping, and go think about it instead. But you're probably good on this river versus 2 people about 0 amount of the time. So I figured down for whatever had the nut flush just because he was willing to slide in the remaining little bit of money there at the end. Which, if you're actually holding his hand there on the river, I'm not sure you're supposed to slide in the remaining $30 here, just based on how the game works. But maybe you are. Maybe you're supposed. Yeah, you know what? I mean, he clearly knew that Brulop was a purple, and that's at least going to be a $30 rebate for the times Nino's got you beat. But yeah, he's got a flush. He's the one with the flush. Brulop clearly didn't need to have the flush. Brulop might have been thinking that like one heart is entitled to at least some of the pot here. I mean, I got the best heart. Like that's gotta be worth something, but it's not how the game functions here. Maybe he thought he was gonna get to do some fun things on Heart River. Maybe he thought that on the Heart River he was gonna be king and he was gonna get to win. I'm sorry, Brulop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I don't think he was actually thinking anything at all. In fact, I'm not sure that's a person. Like, that could be an experimental chimpanzee. They might have taught an elephant how to play poker finally. With one of those giant, like, you know those chessboards that they have outside? Where the pieces are like as big as people? You just have the elephant stepping on things to like better raise. Elephants are really smart. Could be a dolphin. Could be a dolphin. I think a dolphin would figure. I mean, yeah. Moving on. Pot raise, flat. 3-bet from Catalo, slapping everybody. Get a flat. Elusive Mark decides to put it down. And we get a half pot C-bet. We get a check on the turn that gets min raised. Ooh! So, I mean, Catalo could just be going for the ownage here with a hand like aces or kings, thinking that Keith Raz does silly things. Catalo could also have some hand squeezing that actually connected with this board. But right now, Keith Raz slides it in, and Catalo did have top boat. And Keith Raz gets owned for the absolute maximum in a pretty large pot. That's almost 400 BBs. Did Keith Raz have to lose a stack here? Nope. Did he have to bet turn here? Nope. Did he have to call pre? Yeah. Did he have to flat flop? Quite reasonable and normal with this exact hand, but turning this one into a bet on this turn, well, let's say maybe he assumes that this 9 is actually semi-scary for Catalo and he's going to be able to follow up on a decent bit of rivers like the 6, the 8, the hearts. And he's going for the bet here, just being a savage and also reducing combos of Catalo's aces and kings, top of range. Maybe that played into it. But when you get min-raised here on the turn, one time for his ambition. We gonna love him for his ambition. God damn, man. They can do so much with this money, man. I got no respect for it, man. Look at that slide. He's trying to... He's a little bit more... Yeah, guys, it doesn't look that dead. It doesn't look that dead. I don't know. Moving on. Min raise, 3-bet, 4-bet. We flat, we're deep, let's ride. 287 in the pot, stack to pot ratio of about 3. Get a 132 C-bet, gets check called. Check, call, and check, call. And your hope, I mean, Jakobus obviously could just have aces value betting. Luckbox could have a pair that was notched. That would be fairly standard. Also, Luckbox could occasionally run into a bluff here. This time around, it was the bluff, and his queens were good. Sometimes he's just going to get shown the aces or kings. You're hoping it's at a balanced frequency, and you're at least breaking even. At some small stakes games at the stack depth, they wouldn't show you the barrel off, and they would show you the dick down, and your queens would just be torching money versus some people. If you can figure it out, you can find hero folds. But if you can't, well, what can I tell you? It's pretty close to the top of your range. Raise, 3-bet, and a flat from Javel, who is also a reg. I had more labels on people, but I've since reformatted, and I only have some now. We used to have a lot of these people marked up. I definitely played with Odd before. We definitely had Baron marked as red before. forgive me for my insolence. Hustler Kobe bets, gets called. Turn barrel. Gets raised at the stack. That pretty nasty spot for at least some of Hustler's bets, but he also will have certain draws that just have easy continues, and he also will have certain nutted hands that are extremely excited at this point. Bottom of odds range here? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of an interesting spot because he's putting his neck out there if he has certain decent equity hands here, as he can get slapped off those hands by certain nutted holdings. He could also have his own king-king in his range flatting at this stack depth pre-flop. Certainly doesn't have to be 4-betting it 100% of the time. But it is putting yourself out there a little bit with some of the draws. Maybe he can use some of the slightly weaker ones here. But it's, yeah, the ones that kind of just can't call versus this sizing might get filtered into an occasional raising range and balance out for the sets that you can have. But Hustler flats, river is the 2, which doesn't complete any draws, though I don't know how many of them odd has here. I would expect him to have some if he has a raising range, though. And he just has top set and trip 2s. Unfortunate river for Hustler, as yeah, I mean, you are beating like a king 10 suited that could maybe have played this way. And yeah, there's a decent bit of draws that get picked up on this turn. He also might be perceiving odd to have a bit more of the combo draws than I think he would, because I think it's a little bit unfortunate to get shoved on turn. And when you have those hands, you're going to be weighing your opponent towards the made hands pretty strongly at that point. But yeah, top set is good. Pretty amazing river for odd. There's going to be quite a bit of rivers where he's not even really going to be happy value betting. I guess not that many with this exact hand, but the 9 of clubs is not going to be very friendly. The diamonds are going to be a bit unfriendly. A couple other combos of clubs are going to be more or less not the greatest, but it's going to be a limited amount of combos that actually improve on those. So, yeah, top set is good. We move on. Chizor opens, gets flatted by BB, gets min check raised on the flop on the 9-5-5 two-tone. Half pot bet gets slapped hard. Hindsides calls, and river jack. Shove 2x pot, gets called, and I assume Chizor is owning him for the maximum. 9-6. 9-6 is raise, 3-bet, 4-bet, big. I'm in there. I mean, it's not at this stack that fine. C-bet, call, bet, shove, call. SD Maxon's got the straight. Sugor's got a setter top 2. Let's fucking go. There you go. Wasn't a surprise. And the straight takes it all. Anticlimactic biggest hand played in the pool right now. There will be more episodes of this, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to leave you with a track I just made. It's only a minute long, so it's not a track. It's just a bonus for you. And then I'm going to go do something hopefully productive. But yeah, I'm mostly saying productive. Wish me luck. And hope they don't kill the games in the next couple of years completely. All the best, guys. Stay safe. Oh, and hit the is that a sub button? I'll do that for real. Like, why not, man? Get that sub clicked. I'm gonna be doing stuff on YouTube. Why are you not? You don't ride with me like that? You ride with me like that? I thought we had it.